Alright, so I'm now going to work the last problem of the section. I'm going to work number 5A. I'm not going to do B or C because once you get A and it's all set up, B and C are just a matter of putting them in the calculator and getting the answer. Okay, in the previous problems that we've worked in this section, you were either given a point like 2, 4, 3, 2, negative 1, negative 2. It basically tells you what quadrant your angle's in by the point. The last problem I worked actually flat out told you what quadrant it was in. It told you it was in quadrant 3. Other problems say quadrant 4, quadrant 2. It tells you what quadrant. Problem 5 here, you have to do a little bit of analysis to actually figure yourself out what quadrant, because they don't tell it to you. The only two bits of information it gives you is cosine x equals 0.265, so we know it's positive. And my tangent x of the unknown angle, x is being the unknown angle, is a negative 3.645. So you have to ask yourself, you have to go through a series of questions and analyze to figure out what quadrant it's in. So draw your xy plane. Start off with the basic idea of cosine. Cosine is positive, but cosine is also the x value on the unit circle. So you have to ask yourself, where are x positive? Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, or quadrant 4? Well, x is positive in quadrants 1 and quadrant 4. So positive, positive. I like to put little signs in the corners so I can look for what's called an overlap, the intersection of them. Well, now I know what cosine, move over to tangent. Tangent is a slope of a line. It has to go through it's going through the origin on the unit circle. What's a negative slope through the origin? Well, that's everywhere between quadrants 2 and quadrant 4. So you have a negative slope here and a negative slope here. That's where the intersection is of the overlap. So therefore, your angle x, has got to be in quadrant 4. So draw yourself a reference triangle out here in quadrant 4. Don't really worry about the angle because we don't need the angle. But draw your reference triangle. Now this reference triangle is going to be on the unit circle. That means your x distance right here is my cosine, which is 0.265. So that's great. I got my x. Now I need to find my y and my r, but all I have is the x to go off of. You have to use this bit of information of tangent. Well, we know tangent is really y over x. But if you notice tangent here is the same thing. Substitute it out. Bring the number down and replace. Negative 3.645 equals y. My x value on this triangle here, as well as here, the cosine is 0.265. So you multiply by 0.265 on both sides using your algebra. This and this cancels. You end up getting my y equals negative 0.965925. Now I like to carry out as many decimal places as I can to eliminate internal rounding error. You could round this after 3 decimal places, but the final answer is also going to be rounded to 2 or 3 decimal places. You can be off by a tenth or a hundredth or sometimes even an actual integer off by the way that you round. So try to carry it out several places past where you have to round your final answer to, so you eliminate that rounding error. So my y value is a negative 0.965925. From here, I just need to find my hypotenuse. Well, the hypotenuse is just a Pythagorean theorem. 0.265 squared plus negative 0.965925 squared. Take the square root of that. Don't forget your plus or minus, and that's going to equal my r. My r, once you put all that into the calculator, you don't have to do it by hand. I'm not going to do it by hand, so just throw it in the calculator. Ends up being plus or minus 1.002. Now it's the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always positive. We don't need the negative sign. So my radius is just 1.002. Well, now I know my x, my y, and my r. Just like all the other problems where you list out your x, your y, and your r, just make yourself a list. My x is 0.265. My y, negative 0.965925. And my r is 1.002. From there, it's just a matter of filling out. I'm only going to do A, because once I do A, you can do B and C because you already have the components right here to finish answering the problem. secant of x is r over x. That becomes 1.002 over 0.265. Don't ever leave your answer like that. It's okay if you write it to put it in the, so you know how to put it in the calculator, because that's how you're going to put it in the calculator. 1.002 divided by 0.265. But this is really a fraction on top of a fraction. It is not reduced. If you leave it as a fraction, you have to convert those decimals to a fraction, or just throw it in the calculator because I'm giving it to you in decimal. Give it back to me in a decimal. This will end up being approximately 3.781. B and C, same way. You just go through, you match up with the different components that you have, throw it in the calculator, get it to 3 decimal places, make sure you round properly, and then you're finished.